Welcome back to Newsmaker Live. We have a call on the line, so let's go straight to that call. Good evening. Oh, we lost that call, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about the minibuses, and our streets, especially in Castries, were littered with minibuses. I think we got that call back. Let's take that call first. Good evening. Thanks for holding.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'd like to make the point that it is not only important that government makes revenue, but what's equally important is for government to facilitate businessmen to create and stimulate economic activity, and in so doing, create employment. Government cannot create jobs. Government must create a business environment that allows businessmen like Michael Jackson to gainfully employ people and, of course, make a profit. That's what we did in this country, not for government to impose a 15% VAT on people in this country. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you see, that is correct, you know. The gentleman is correct. Government is supposed to create an environment, okay? Because, you know, as you rightly said, you have a new minister has come in. He may be bright, but he hasn't had the experience. You need an experience to run a business, you know. You have to have a foresight, Clinton, you know. You have to plan and say, not everybody, I'm not trying to boast about myself, but you have to have a vision, you know. And you can just look at people and say, okay, fine, he has done this thing, it's been, maybe this guy knows what he's doing, you know. I can tell the Prime Minister tomorrow that really and truly, embrace me tomorrow. Let me embrace a couple of people. Let us fix up the town for him. That is, he doesn't have time for that. He can take care of the constitution side of things. Pass that on to business people. Let them handle it. The gentleman is perfectly correct. All the minibus people, it is not right. Those people are providing a service. These people should, in the gardens there, they should have a nice shed already with some nice toilets around there, clean up the place so the people can run their business, you know. They have a problem with security. We need to address that problem, you know. These are guys, some of them borrowing money to go and buy a minivan. Parts are expensive, you know. You have to help those people, man.
Good evening, caller. Please go ahead. Okay, we lost that caller. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, as we said before, simple fixes.
Simple fixes
that don't require a lot of brain power, don't require a lot of finances or capital, you know, injection.
You know, look at, for instance, you look down by, you cross the bridge in Castries, okay? Close to where you have that empty lot. You know, when you, the first bridge, when on Bridge Street, when you're going up, the bridges have been there all the time, okay? You have a land there, okay? This land has been filthy, dirty, people urinating on this thing there. I saw tourists passing there and taking pictures. Are they going to tell people not to come back to St. Lucia? We have a city council. I mean, can they not see that there? That I could go in there in 3 hours with a backhoe, take those old trees out, clean that thing up, and fence, and put some flowers, you know? This is crazy.
We have a call on the line. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
You all took too long to put Mr. Chastanet on this program because I see he has some brilliant ideas. Let's say about the minibus, what he says is quite right. We should take all minibus and put them in one place so the city can be cleaned up. And the next thing, again, Dr. Anthony put taxes on households. How can you barely making ends to pay your bills? How can you pay a house tax? Thank you. This is
thank you very much.
Yeah, the guy is right, you know. I mean, let me tell you something. You see those tax. Okay, you like every business, you'll have some fellas who will flaunt the law. Okay, but you know, I heard people talking about bringing taxis and so. But you know, government doesn't pay anything to those people. The people pay their duty on the gas, they pay the duty on parts, you know. They actually pay money to the country, okay? So you're running a service there run by those people. And they're little entrepreneurs. Help the guys, man. You know, make the fellas comfortable. Respect them, you know. Don't just say, well, okay, fine, you have to wear a t-shirt and so forth. You know, we can do something where one day we can go, we ourselves can buy maybe 40, 50 shirts, do it for one set of guys, and let them follow suit. You have to teach people how to do things. You teach people how to fish. You don't give them fish.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Reynolds and Mr. Chastanet.
Good evening.
Mr. Chastanet, 1 year ago we had a project in Soufre. That's by the Hummingbird Project. I would this project, to me, it looked like when they had the plan, like it was a wonderful project, like to put restaurants and small shops at the beach area, like vending for the tourists. It can be for local and anything. To me, I would really like the whosoever, the government or anybody to help out with that project. Because 1 year ago, it's just sitting there with blocks, and to me, I can get a job there because I do cakes, I do crochet, I do cookies, I do craft, I do dolls. To me, that project would be a wonderful project for Soufre, for the people and for the tourists. So I would like the government or whosoever to check on the project that some people in Soufre can get work, because the VAT is really killing us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, that's a very good contribution. I know that the project was started under the United Workers' Party. And I honestly feel that Dr. Anthony should get involved with that, because that's where the pettiness comes in. You know, it was stopped there for whatever reasons. That thing should be started right away, because it's a nice project and it would present all the boat people with a nice place to have their little shops. Because when we bring people down to Soufre, what do? They take them and bring them up to the tours and they come back. And the poor people in town get nothing. And that was the whole idea of doing it. So I hope Mr. Dalsong and Dr. Anthony and Mr. Walter Francois, the people who were involved down there, will revisit that project and do exactly what we just said a while ago. Put aside the party politics. If something is good, let's finish it. And the same thing applies to what's being done at Pigeon Island toward the Taiwan starting. That project should be finished. Thank you.
Good evening, caller. Please go ahead.
Yes, good evening. I'm very young. Yeah. I'm not that much well. I've followed politics from 1980s or whatever. But whatever y'all keep saying is always the same old story. Whoever comes on TV shows, the radio shows, always the same thing. All right? If any of you are in the power, you would have done the same thing Dr. Kenyon is doing. Whether it's a different manner or the same way he's doing it. Okay, it's just the same old talk. And seriously, as a young man, I'm inside of hearing it. Okay? When Dr. Kenyon came into power, maybe in 2004, whatever it was, I'm not too sure, right? He gave the stadiums and the parking lot. They call it the three big elephants. It's because of those that stadium right now we have Darren Sammy and cricket playing in St. Lucia. We internationally known as ESPN. I'm not saying anybody saying, well, congratulations, or, you know, that was something good. Everybody said a lot of bad things about it. You understand me? So maybe right now I think solutions come together and try and help themselves instead of within our government to help them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that what we're saying is that if you want us to help ourselves, but at least give the permission to go ahead. Don't block it, because, you know, when a government is involved, they can stop things from happening. They can say, okay, fine, give it to a private enterprise and go ahead with it and finish it. I think what you said about both, you will always get criticism, because you'll always find some people wearing a yellow shirt and a red shirt, which I personally think is wrong. But anyway, you're not going to change people. They are who they are. And they will always criticize and say things, but you have to give credit where it is. The Bow Central project is an excellent project, and it was continued, because under the United Workers' Party, when the Taiwan came, they put all the tennis courts, and that's like a good, what you call, sports center today. It's one of the best in the Caribbean. So there's no question about it. What Dr. Anthony did there with Bow Central, I give him full marks for it. Okay. It may be a little costly to maintain, but it's a plus. We saw the cricket here, and in fact, I was so proud listening to the people on the radio on Trinidad. They said that it's one of the best teams, one of the best fields in almost in the world.
Yeah, and that message was going out, you know,
to the world.
We broadcast all over the world. You know, ESPN, the analysts saying, you know, well, we were hoping to get, not we're hoping, but we expect to see better pitches, a better ground when we get to St. Lucia.
Correct.
And I sat there, you know, and my little nationalistic self, you know, so proud that these guys say, you know, St. Lucia is expecting to produce even a better ground than what they saw in their homeland in Trinidad.
Can you imagine that? Yeah.
You have Ian Bishop
I never thought
that.
I would see that. Yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
I might felt very proud about it.
Well, final words from you. Final words.
Well,
before we end.
Well, Clinton, I want to say it was very nice being here. I feel extremely comfortable with you. I've been able to talk and freely And as I told you, I called your show once. I really like your show. I like the way you handle it. And I hope and pray that some of the things I have suggested tonight will come to pass, because we don't have many more years to do the things that we want to do, but it would be nice to do those things, clean it up, and if we can even get 100 or 200 more people on the bread line, that would make me extremely happy.
Great, Mike. Thank you so much. It's always Clinton. A pleasure speaking with you. Michael Chastanet, entrepreneur, businessman. I'm sure, I mean, if you have not heard his name on St. Lucia, then that would be very strange. Just a program note before we end tonight. DFL is on tomorrow. Have you ever imagined how it feels to have special needs and can't look after yourself? Have you ever thought about carers and who looks after them? The guests, Krishna Satni, President of the National Council of and for Persons with Disabilities, and Camilla William, a carer for over 25 years. Send questions and comments here. Live stream at www.dbstvstlucia.com. That is tomorrow night. DFL looks at this issue. Lots of giveaways. 8:30 tomorrow night with, of course, Divya Dolar. Well, on behalf of our entire team, I'm Clinton Reynolds. Looking forward to seeing you next week at the same time for another program. But before then, we'll be here on the weekend, Saturday night, for the Press Club. Join us for that. Until that time, have a good night.